36?
36 what?
On Rotten Tomatoes?
Oh, yeah. What's the first one?
I mean, it was a little silly, but it's not 36.
The first one's only got a 46. I learned long ago that my tastes could not be contained by the critics.
Hello, everybody. I'm Will.
And I'm Kristen.
And this is So I'm Watching This Show, your new favorite pop culture YouTube channel where we talk about movies, TV, music, and more. And as always, this is a spoiler show, so you have been warned. On today's episode, we are going to be talking about the sequel to National Treasure 2, Book of Shadows.
Secrets.
Book of Secrets.
Ben, wait. That could be a horrible trap.
Sorry, I couldn't resist.
I like this one. I think I liked it better.
Really?
Yeah. I think it's probably because we watched them together, one after the other, so they're largely a whole for me. And I appreciated already knowing the characters. And I like an ensemble, so I liked Helen Mirren and I liked Jon Voight more in this one.
Yeah.
I liked Ed Harris a lot.
Really? I thought he was going to be a bridge too far for you.
I like Ed Harris.
I like Ed Harris, too.
I think he's hot in an old cowboy way.
He's pretty hot.
And I mean, you kind of got his thing right away.
Yeah.
And the pragmatism of him being like, we already fucked this up. I might as well die.
Yeah.
It just kind of, it worked for me. I go back and forth. I liked, I actually thought Diane Kruger and Nicolas Cage worked better in this one.
Yeah.
It felt, I mean, I know that they made sure to like show her like foot lift in
the Urban Outfitters.
Yeah. Was it there?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. I thought it was when they were talking at the gala. At one point they were talking and she did like the cutesy thing.
Yeah, that was at the Urban Outfitters because they both swung their dressing room doors out and were talking to each other like over the dressing room doors. I've seen this movie 100 times.
You were like, are you really going to? I know that they did that, but it just felt obligatory in the first movie. Now's the part of the movie where the lead male and female kiss.
I definitely feel that. It's just you were totally right when we talked about the first one that it was sort of a holdover from like the 90s, and
That's the way movies work.
Exactly. And so I super get that. But I do also agree that I do think their relationship works better in the second one, because even though we don't see it, we know that they have like an extra relationship history that we are like witnessing kind of the aftermath and implosion of. I
found their chemistry more believable reconciling than I did falling in love. Sure.
I see that. I see that for sure. There is this one little tick that, not even a tick, but there's this one little performance thing that Nicolas Cage does, and it's when they're in the dumbwaiter in Buckingham Palace going up, and he's like got his stupid face like buried in the flowers, and he's like, "You're wearing that perfume," and then he keeps like ducking his face back in the flowers.
What?
You're wearing the perfume I bought you.
So?
So I think it smells kind of pretty.
It's the flowers, Ben.
No, it's not.
It's just really charming. And
I found her game in both movies, but I think because she wasn't at war with them the way she was in the first movie, it felt like she got more to do in this one.
Sure.
I know that's not true from like a screen time place, but I think it's criminal how the entire movie and everyone in it treats Riley. I cannot believe how they were treating his whole read your friend's books. If your friend writes a book, read it. At least pretend to. My God.
Buy a copy, leave a review on Amazon. It's not hard.
Dog ear a few pages, learn a couple of the names, and just like we have a couple of friends.
Annotate every page.
But no, I'm like, I have a couple of friends who I know for a fact they've only like listened to or watched 2 or 3 of these episodes, but they're still getting mileage out of it. Like,
fine.
Just pretend. Anyways, because like literally, if you and me were at I buried the lead. This movie is about finding and confirming the existence of an ancient civilization, an ancient place known as Borders.
Oh. There is straight
I've heard legends.
There is straight up a Borders.
I've heard rumors
Yeah.
that such a place might have existed.
Mm-hmm.
But no, if you
used to fuck with Borders. Yeah.
Hours.
I mean, I feel like aesthetically, I've always been a Barnes & Noble girl, but I used to fuck with Borders and Walden Books. I used to, whatever
Walden
was
Books
available.
Was in the mall, and which, I mean, no shade there.
Yeah.
But my brother played roller hockey, and so we spent many a weekend at games and tournaments next door to strip malls.
Gotcha.
So me and Amy would just loaf about in
Barnes & Noble?
Borders, yeah. Because they also used to have like good music and DVDs and stuff, like
and magazines.
Yeah, when I was trying
That's
to
where I got all of my Josh Hartnett magazines.
Oh, my weird like French gay porn
that
people didn't know was porn, so I could buy it when I was like 16.
Well, and also it's like they used to have all of the like international regular magazines too, and so you'd be able to get like UK Vogue and stuff.
My Kylie Minogue body fever, body language fever, and then body language DVDs. Remember I had the concert DVDs?
I sure do.
You couldn't buy that shit at Best Buy.
No. What we're saying is that we really miss bookstores.
Don't get me started on the Virgin Megastore.
No. There's also,
I will cry a tear.
Also, this is not going to work for anybody unless you live in Central Florida as well, but there used to be a Barnes & Noble like 15 minutes from my house, and they closed it, and it's going to be a Nike store. Just only a Nike store.
The one downtown is still...
Yeah. Like the one on 50?
Yeah, it was close to where I used to live.
Yeah.
A Nike store at that.
Just only Nike. Like not even like a sports, like not like a Dick's or anything, just like Nike.
There is a tentpole scene in the Library of Congress, so this is on topic. It stays in the episode. Yeah. But no, you and me, if we were in a Borders in 2007 and Justin Bartha's face was there with a bunch of books about treasure hunting, and the author himself, because first of all, not only is he cute, but like if the author himself is there, that's cool. Second of all, we would not want him to be like, we would just be talking to him buying books.
I don't know.
And those bitches, or you might be too embarrassed.
21, 22, I think if I were in the presence of Justin Bartha's face at the age of 21, I would have been embarrassed. Like I would have not been able to speak.
I don't know.
He's so cute.
Those girls were bitches.
Those girls were horrible.
I've never heard of you.
No.
Oh my gosh, are you Ben Gates?
Yes. Yes, I am.
Do you own a red Ferrari?
Yes, I do.
Well, it's being towed.
But it did pay off with the cute one.
Yeah.
And she seemed sweet in a way that the first two were whores. Total sluts. I don't know. That was weird.
Damn.
I'm riffing.
Coming in hot. Part of the Riley thing too, though, is that like you're right. They all treat him kind of horribly in this movie, but part of it is earned because he's being so like sort of smarmy. Like he's bought this Ferrari. He's gotten like a terrible business manager, and like also it's the Ferrari. It's a Ferrari that he got at the end of the last one, but he doesn't know how to drive it, and it's just like a weird sort of gross status symbol. And I'm like, grow up and get like James Bond's car. You'll be fine. But you're right. They should have read his book, and he just the whole time is like, "Didn't you read my book? Like all of this stuff is in my book."
They were really treating him
like a joke.
Yeah, like he was what's his face from Enchanted, Pip.
Oh,
or no, not Pip.
Timothy Spall. Yeah.
I also liked some of the gimmicks or some of the things a little bit more in this one. Again, I don't know that it's necessarily that I liked them more. I think maybe I was just warmed up.
Now that you're already like in the...
Well, I like Paris and I like the Buckingham Palace, and that was relatively conceivable. I didn't know that the Resolute desk had a fellow.
Yeah.
Excuse me, missus. I've lost a shoe. Like, this one, it's like this one's fellow, the exact opposite, in fact, of that.
Had a second. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
And it's at the Queen's.
Mm-hmm.
I said the Queen's.
Yeah.
Over my dead body. Well,
yeah, not over her dead body, over our dead body.
I didn't know that.
Yep,
and that story was true?
Is true, yeah. I looked it up the last time I watched this just to be like, that's true, right? And it is. And then it was like the panel in the front was built for FDR so that he could hide his wheelchair.
I knew that.
Yeah.
Or I had heard that.
And then the John photo, that's correct as well.
And so the mystery was that, I'm skipping a little bit. I'll go back. Don't worry. There were 2 planks of wood that had writing on it from Native American.
Yeah, like pre-Columbian.
That
stuff.
went to, I'm unfamiliar with, did the movie make up that city?
Cibola?
Yeah. Cibola.
It's like a real
myth,
yeah.
Okay. I was surprised that I hadn't really heard of that.
City of Gold.
Is that not? Well, I guess
El Dorado.
Yeah, I was like, it's not the same though.
I don't think it's the same. I think El Dorado is in Central or South America, right?
Okay.
We should watch that movie. It is filthy for children.
I've never seen it.
The Road to El Dorado, it's filthy.
Whoa. Whoa! My lords.
They are absolutely having a 3-way with that woman.
It was more explicit in earlier versions. There's apparently like
and they like pared it down.
Mm-hmm. I did find the opening of this one to be a bit sillier.
Mm-hmm.
We had that like flashback to the Lincoln assassination, and John Wilkes Booth and company were going to Grant's great-great-grandfather or something to Gates to like help, and then Ed Harris had like evidence that proved that he was a conspirator. And my issue is I can't imagine what it's like to give that much of a fuck about a great-great-grandfather.
I know. I always have thought the exact same thing. And there's also like a sort of horizontal story in the TV show Bones, because David Boreanaz's character, his name is Booth. His last name is Booth. And he is a descendant of John Wilkes Booth, but he has like great shame about it. And I'm like, my dude.
I mean, maybe being proud of your ancestors is a luxury not afforded to Southerners. But it just makes me think of the end of Frozen 2 when like the big reveal was that their grandfather was evil. And I was like, everybody's grandfather is evil. Are you kidding me?
You go back enough generations, you've got an evil.
You go back one.
Yeah.
I think legally, I don't think they're allowed to be nice.
Yeah.
But they did do a good enough job addressing it in the movie with I forgot the turn of phrase he used, but the mud.
Oh, his name is Mudd, yeah. Because that Samuel Mudd was like a conspirator as well. And now you say that his name is Mudd, and it's like originally was spelled with 2 D's, but now it's just synonymous with like his name's in the dirt.
That it doesn't really matter if it's been cleared once people already think that. That's true, and I mean, you can't say that they didn't earn, that they didn't show their work with these men being proud of their heritage, their legacy.
Here's the thing. I feel like if you can, because again, we all know that they were all dirtbags and they were all slave owners, and we know all of this and everything, but it's like, if you can trace your lineage back directly to the founding fathers, I think that's something that you can be proud of. Like, you're allowed to be proud of that. They built a nation. It's very cool. But also at a certain point, it's like, how much of your life are you gonna devote to this?
Well, they were also treating it sort of like that one mystery scene from favorite movie of ours, Showgirls, where all of the like international reporters are talking to her. And I was like, is this really like halt the press's news that they found a piece of paper that implies that some man that nobody knows?
Sure.
I guess the Gates
because he has found the treasure
famous.
In the first one, now he's famous.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess that works. But I was just sort of
he was also a well-respected historian before that, but now he's...
I guess that makes more sense. Because I was sort of like, who gives a fuck? And again, I'm like, it was circumstantial.
Well, because it's also so like...
The way Ed Harris comes into that scene.
Oh my God. He like comes in so hot. It's hilarious. But also because the thing is that Thomas Gates was just like tangentially involved. He's not like they're not like, oh my God, it was not John Wilkes Booth. It was this other guy. And it's like, no,
To the
Booth
point where that
still
kid is
shot
like,
him.
you're the one whose father killed Lincoln. Which that actually sold me.
Yeah.
I was sort of like, that's stupid. But, and I should have known, because this is often the case, it's like, no, go harder.
Yeah, go harder.
Go harder into the silly
sure.
part, and then I'll be like, oh, okay, it's almost, this is like an almost reality.
Yeah.
But, and the depiction of the French were pretty,
it
was pretty funny, pretty stereotypical. No, this one, actually, I like this one. It felt eternal. I feel like we were watching it for like 3 hours, though.
It is
a lot of things happen.
Yeah, just over 2 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because he also, you're right, does kidnap the president, played
Bruce
by
Greenwood.
always the right choice. I love Bruce Greenwood.
He's so hot.
We're lucky that him and Ed Harris didn't have a scene together.
Oh, explosive. Let's watch Double Jeopardy.
So Gates, because he's famous from the first movie, the president knew who he was, and they were kind of friends.
Well, this was the first time they had met, but like he knew who he was, and like because Ben is like who he is, he knows exactly how to tempt the president into getting.
Okay.
That's why he was like, it has to be Mount Vernon where I can kidnap him, because he knew about the tunnel and everything. So
I don't know. It's just sort of only showing its work. Like the more I question it, the more solid I'm finding it.
That's the thing too, and that's another reason why I find Ben Gates to be such a charming hero for these movies, and like Nicolas Cage as the actor, because he also, in both movies, he gets told he's very bad at negotiating, because he literally, the president is like, how the fuck are we gonna get out of here? And he's like, oh, it's just through there. You can leave at any time. And he's like,
it's because they have to trust him.
No, of course. But it's just like, because he has that like honor, I don't know. It like just works gangbusters for me.
The scene that he picked with Diane Kruger in Buckingham Palace was so funny. Yeah. What did he go into? He went into some like limerick or something when the police were taking him off.
I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts. Yeah.
I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts. Here they are, standing in a row. Small one, big one, some as big as your head.
That whole thing was so funny, and her sort of like, because she thinks it's real at first.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I liked all of this more.
I'm so happy. How mad are you now that there's not a third one?
So that is a point I was going to talk about. I am mad. Did this one underperform or something?
I think they both did, if I'm being honest.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. I don't know, but it just sort of like never got off the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been like talked about a lot, but
it's one of the things that I hate that I'm going to bring it here, but I am. It's hard to take a lot of this stuff seriously in a post-Trump world.
Sure.
Like well,
that's like 2007. They had so many years.
We still believed in, but it's just like the notion of like the president's book, and because they said that like each president like decides where it's hidden or something, and I was like, we're gonna have to go get this thing from fucking Mar-a-Lago. He's never gonna give it back. Like it just sort of it taints the entire. Like I just can't not think of that.
I choose to believe that this movie takes place in a universe
in
where
an alternate.
There is no Donald Trump.
It's just the whole thing, like even just the Oval Office. I'm just sort of like.
Yeah. Well, and John Voight made some comment where he was like, the greatest minds of our country have sat behind, and you were like, ugh. I was like, this came out in 2007. We could still sort of believe that. With,
I was like, even post-Bush, there was still sort of like, I mean,
it's charming.
Yeah.
Just the charming war crimes.
That's where I think we went too far. And I did find the climax at Mount Rushmore to be pretty stupid. You really got to start suspending disbelief at that point.
When they're just like sprinkling water bottles just like on rando rocks.
Well, and furthermore, because there's the scene where Helen Mirren was like, "Is that water been distilled?" And I was like, as opposed to all of the lake water that it has been steeping in.
Well, yeah, but now that they can take the precautions, you should take the precautions.
Sure, but I'm saying any damage that was going to happen would have been done in that 400-year stretch.
Yeah. Not in this like 15 minutes.
And I do appreciate that they did acknowledge, because the Mount Rushmore is built on stolen. It's a desecration to sacred stolen land from the Lakota people. So I do like that they at least acknowledged that.
I'll tell you what, the Black Hills are beautiful.
Yeah, I'm only aware of it in concept. I have obviously seen pictures of it and stuff.
Oh, I've been there.
And
it's pretty dope.
I'm most familiar with it when it's on top of Denise Richards' head.
I chose Mount Rushmore because to live in a country where you can take an ugly old mountain and put faces on it, faces of great Americans who did so much to make our country super great, well, that makes me Rebecca Lehman, proud to be an American.
Or like behind Richie Rich's house.
But there were a couple shots of it in this movie where I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Because what was it called? Like the 7 pillars or 7 needles, or it was called something before that.
Oh, I don't know that. Yeah.
I think it's had several names.
I was that was almost 20 years ago that I was there, but I think it's one of the ones that's like a little smaller than you think it's going to be because you can't get as close to it as you think you can, but it's beautiful.
So,
and just like the hills and like the whole area is really lovely.
But yeah, I mean, I like Ty Burrell. I liked Helen Mirren.
I kind of love Ty Burrell in this movie. He's very fun. And he's so enamored of Abigail and like searching for her earring. And she's like thrusting her tits out as hard as she can.
She was doing some like comedy where because I started to lament. I started to be like, man, I wish she had like taken off more than she did. And I was like, actually, she's got a pretty solid.
I think she has the career
filmography.
She wants.
Yeah. And I think that these are so mainstream in a way that she seems to be a little bit more indie.
Yeah.
Like, because honestly, I saw Troy before. I was going to say, I think the first thing I saw her in was Joy A. Noel. No, I saw Troy before that.
Also, she's got that Walking Dead money now. She's with Norman Reedus.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought she's married to somebody else.
She
was with Joshua Jackson for
a long time. And now he's with Jodie Turner-Smith.
Yes. I like the FBI agent, and I like that he was kind of a good guy.
Harvey Keitel, yeah.
Yeah. This time. You get that sense from him the first time where it was a little bit, detective-y. It was a little
Sadusky.
Benoit Blanc, where it's sort of like, it makes no sense, but it compels.
Yeah, I like him a lot too because he's not really a good or bad guy, but he's like fair. He's like fair and just, and like the whole thing they have it in the first one where he's like, someone's got to go to prison, and they make Sean Bean go to prison, and in this one he just is like, eventually you're gonna go to prison, Ben. Like, what are we doing? Like, you can't keep doing this kind of shit. I don't know. I like these movies so much.
I do. I feel like that there should be a third. It just feels like.
Well, there's about to be a TV show. I'm definitely going to watch it. I'm not going to force that on you.
I'm interested in it. I'll go that far.
We might put it on and see how we feel. That none of them are involved except for Justin Bartha, I think.
Oh, that actually works.
Yeah. And I will not subject you to the Librarian movies with Noah Wyle. But those are like Walmart versions of these movies.
I might be more game for that. Do you know what I mean?
They're even dumber.
Yeah. And I know, I guess Rebecca Romijn's only in the show.
Yeah.
She's not in the movies. So.
Yeah, but the first one is, I never remember her name. Penny from Lost. And then the second one is Gabrielle Anwar, who I think you would know if you saw her. And then the third one is Stana Katic. And Jane Curtin and Bob Newhart are in all three. Just saying. It's incredible. Oh, and Kyle MacLachlan's in the first one, too.
Apparently we're watching the Library.
They're so stupid. I'm obsessed.
All in all, I had a good time. I like this.
I'm so happy. Makes me happy. All right.
Is that the end?
Yeah. You can follow us on Twitter @soimwatching.
Like and subscribe.
Instagram,
help us get to 5K. We keep forgetting to do that at the beginning.
5K. We're so close.
Welcome to So I'm Watching This Show. Subscribe so we can get to 5K before the end of the year. And also, thank you, Amy.
Yes.
And, yeah. So.
That's it. Bye.